Hey there, so this is another one of those tricks that's kind of been on the back burner forever and a day, and that I just never had the time or energy to get down clean. And as you can see, it still needs a little bit of work, but at the very least I can execute a few repetitions of it before it gets uncontrollable. It is of course a behind the back crosser, which is much like a normal crosser, except that your arms are behind your back instead of in front of you. Genius point there, right? Now most of us, when we learn the front crosser, we learn it by crossing our arms over each other, like say if we were going to start in a weave, keeping our plane stable with our arms crossed, and then turning to face the other direction, keeping our plane stable in reverse, turning back, and then working our way down to the point where we are essentially doing one beat with each poi on each side of our body. This is a 2-beat move for each hand. For the longest time, I thought to approach a behind-the-back crosser in much the same way, that you start off with, say, a behind-the-back weave, and at the moment when your arms are crossed, you try and get your plane stable and just keep them going with your arms crossed. It sucks doing this way. It totally sucks. It's hard as hell. And I never got the turn down, and I could not figure out why. So the behind the back crosser got relegated to essentially the back burner more often than not. Occasionally when I got ambitious, I would pull it back out and once again not have a whole lot of luck with it. And then, a couple weeks ago, Leo from Vancouver posted an excellent video on body tracers in which he was taking each and every position from which you can do a 2-beat weave and showing the different combinations of them. Two of the combinations he showed were the frontside crosser and the behind the back crosser, at which point it dawned on me that you could practice it purely in terms of it being a 2-beat weave rather than working your way down through those turns. Okay, so how does that work? Well, if you take your behind the back waist wrap, you take either side of it and you stop it and use it as the basis of a 2-beat. Now you'll notice my left hand is behind my back, my right hand is free, but they're still performing a 2-beat move just as much as if my left hand were in front, right? You can do the same thing on the right side. Now as I'm doing this, note, I'm actually touching my right hand to my hip to try and make sure that as much of this movement as possible is coming from my body. My right hand is definitely helping out in there, but for the most part it's a move that's coming from core, right? This is part of the key to getting it down, because what I didn't understand before I started doing this was that you fundamentally have a different center of gravity when you're trying it up here versus when you're doing it down here. Namely, the movement has to start from your feet when you're moving your hips, whereas it can start from your hips if you're moving your upper body. Granted, in the grand scheme of things, you should probably be starting all movements from down below, but hey, you know, we all have our ways of getting there. So, after trying both of these 2 beats, and having a lot of success with them, I then took the next step, which was starting from those 2 beats, and reaching my right hand back around, and ta-da! The behind the back crosser was waiting right there for me. And granted, it still took a whole bunch of practice and a whole bunch of work, but check it out. There's the end result. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot more tweaking and cleaning up involved in this move. But for at least the immediate future, I'm pretty damn happy that I can do it at all. So, for those of you guys who are also struggling with this move, I hope this helps you out as much as it did me. And yeah, that there's going to be more behind the back crossers out there for everybody to see. So, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Peace for now.